Hey everyone, welcome back to another video of this series. In this video, we will be coding the HTML and CSS of the wireframe which we created in the last video. So let me quickly recap on the whiteboard what we have done, and from there we can take it forward. So we planned 3 screens. The first was your home screen, which would look like this. Second was your search screen to be looking like this. And the third was your detail screen. So in this video, we will try to code HTML and CSS, and we will try to actually design them. And yeah, let's get started. So let me directly jump into my VS Code now. And here I have MP project, nothing right now. And we will be doing everything from scratch, no bootstrap, no jQuery, no fancy libraries, no nothing. Everything is going to be plain and vanilla. So let's create a new folder for our assets. Whatever you have your CSS, your images, your JavaScript, your font, whatever, all of that goes inside the assets folder. Other than that, we will have 3 files, index.html, then another one will be search.html, then another one is going to be detail.html. Okay, we've got all of these 3 files which we will be using right now. Here, what next do we have? So in our assets, what we want to do is we want to again create some more subfolders. So our CSS is in one folder, our JavaScript is in another folder, and images in another folder. So I'll create a folder for CSS. I'll create another folder for JS, another folder for images, because we will have our logo and the main image or everything. The coin image we will be fetching from the API itself, so we don't need to store all of them. But other than that, say your logo, your main hero, even the GitHub image which you want to show at the footer, that we need to store. Now let's go on to my index.html and let's start writing the HTML first. I will write the boilerplate, so we're going to start with doctype HTML. Doctype HTML, and okay, why is this throwing me an error? We are on CRLF and we have doctype HTML here only. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So we will start with HTML. Lang is going to be en. Then inside HTML, I'm going to use a head tag. Maybe we will let's do that. Let's in fact add the title. So meta char set is going to be UTF-8. Anyway, we are going to copy paste this for other pages, so it's better to add it once, at least type it. And then the HTTP equivalent, so meta HTTP equivalent, that is going to be for my cross user agent compatible with the C capital and BLE. Content for this is going to be IE is equal to edge. Okay, the another one is for the viewport, so meta name viewport. The content for this is going to be width, having device width, device hyphen width, and your initial scale going to be 1.0. Okay. Title for this, I'm gonna give title for this, I'm going to give crypto view for Geekster. And I'm thinking we will attach CSS files in a sort, even JavaScript there, that there will be one common which will be attached to all 3 screens, and then each screen will have their own separate CSS and JavaScript. So what we will do is link rel style sheet, and the href for this is going to be assets/css/ we haven't created the files, so let's quickly create them. New file, common.css, create a new file, index.css, create a new file, search.css, for all 3 having separate CSS, and then one common, and detail.css. The common one will probably contain the CSS of your navigation bar and the footer. because those two components, those two things are used pretty much, on all the three screens. So it's better to have a single CSS for them. Common.js, same purpose. Common.js, index.js, and search.js, and finally detail.js. Okay, so all three files, so all three JavaScript files for each screen, 3 CSS files for each screen, one common for all three of them. So that would be for my folder structure as of now. Images will probably contain your logo and GitHub and all of those things, as I've already mentioned. So now in my assets CSS, common goes first, then link rel style sheet, href, again assets CSS, index for this one, it goes here, and that would be it for the head part. In the body tag, I need to add the scripts at the last, so script src assets js, common.js, and the other one which I will add is assets, not address, script src assets js and index.js. So this will be my index.html. I'm going to copy this and paste it on other screens as well. For detail, just change it to, instead of index, detail.css, and here instead of index, make detail.js. For search as well, same thing, instead of index, we go search.css, and here search.javascript. And let's write some content in our index so we can see that it is working. So let's just write a simple h1 tag. Welcome to the project, just to see if it is working or not. I'm going to start my live server, click on go live, wait for it to start, and it has started. Let me take you to my browser. Here we go, and we have welcome to the project written here. Okay, just bare bone files we have created, nothing fancy as of now. Let's go back to my code and let's start structuring the page. So if you remember from my whiteboard, the home page is made up of 3 parts: your navigation, your section, and your footer. Now your section is further divided into 2 sections. That first one is going to be like an about, and then we will have a scrolling card or something like that. Okay, so yeah, you can say a total of 4 sections in that case. So let's go back to our and let's try to write it down. So first up, we have the nav. I'm using semantic HTML, so it's easy to read. First up, we have the nav, then we have a section, then we have another section, then we finally have the footer. Okay, nav, I'll just put some comment here, probably like this. This is for the navigation bar. This one I'll write another comment here, so it's later to get and refer in the code if you refer to this after months or years. This is for the main section. Okay, then this is for the top coins section, and here we go, this is for the footer. Okay, now before we dive directly into writing all the CSS and everything, I want to pick something called as a color palette. Okay, a color palette is something which is like a set of predefined colors, and we use all the colors from that only. We don't use any external color, we don't use any other combination of colors or anything else. So we're gonna search for a color palette. I'll open Firefox, and there's this website called as colors, I think double O or something. Yep, COOLORS, colors.co. This is a really good website, to be able to find and search for color palettes. It's pretty nice. I'll hide all the ad and everything. So you can generate or you can explore the trending one. So I'm going to use the trending one. And other than that, if you want, you can simply go onto Google and search for color palette generator. There are plenty of websites which can help you out there. You want a gradient color palette or whatever color palette you want, you can help it. Now I scroll down to trending ones. I think which one I might like. Oh, this one looks good. This one looks good. So I'm gonna select this. Not like this. And this is the one which I'm wanting to use. You know, it has 5 colors, not too much, comparatively fine. I am on a zoom. Let me reset. Yep, this is fine. Okay. So which one I selected? Where is it? This one. This looks good. Just 5 colors, pretty good enough. What I'm thinking is, like, we don't use plain white background as your body. What I'll do is this light gray kind of a thing. I'm going to use this as the background of my body. So right now, if you notice, the background is pure white. I'm going to change it. I'm going to use a little grayish kind of a thing for my body background. So let's go back to VS Code and let's close pretty much all the files as of now. We just need 3 files, you know, index.html, index.css, and comment.css. That's all we need. So in my body, we will be doing a background color of white. Sorry, not white, of this color, which one we have selected. At the same point, at the same time, I want to remove the margins for all of these: h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, and paragraph tag. Margin 0 pixel. It's pretty annoying if, you know, working with the default margin. So I just remove them and then we'll work with our own. Now let's write some structure. Now, if you notice in my whiteboard, we have 3 things. We have in the navigation bar, we have 3 things. We have the image, we have the logo, the logo, the text, whichever your, you know, title is, followed by the search button. So that is what we are going to write here. So in my navigation bar, I'll go back to code now. So in my navigation bar, what I will do is very simple: create an image, img src. We don't know as of now. Just give it a hash. Alt attribute, alternate. So alternate text will be logo. And after that, we will have an h1. Let's give it the h1. Call it strip to view. And search will be a button. So button. And the text is going to be search. Okay. And this nav bar, we will give some CSS. So we are going to do that. And before that, let's move on to our browser, because there directly we can give, you know, using inspect element and all the dynamic CSS we can give. And then later we can copy that and paste it in our HTML. So going to Firefox. This is right now the scene, navigation bar. Pretty much all the elements are in line. So maybe for H1, what if I change this? All the elements are block. So for H1, if I change it to inline, this should be good. H1 is now inline. Okay, that's pretty nice. That's pretty neat. What else can we do here? We can change the background color of this navigation bar to white. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to choose the element, background color goes white, means hash FFF. Okay. In the body, why did it not take it? Interesting. Did I attach the correct CSS? Did I save my CSS? Okay. Let's check in the head tag. Do we have the CSS attached? We have assets, CSS, common. Interesting. Why did it do like this? Let's check. Okay. Yep. One small mistake. I'll show you. One small mistake can cause a lot of harm. One small typo. In my style sheet, I was missing the L. So style sheet. Okay. So anyway, since we are back in the code editor, let's quickly do that. So we thought the H1 will be inline. So I'm going to create a utility class for this. Display of inline. D-inline. That will do display inline. So whichever element I give this class, it will have the display inline property. So for H1, I'm going to give this utility class D-inline. And for the nav bar, we thought that we are going to give the background as white. So nav bar goes background color hash FFF. Okay. So we'll go back to the browser now and see how it looks. And this is whiteboard. Let's go to the Firefox. So this is how it looks as of now, which is fine. Maybe a little bit of padding might be helpful. So in my navigation bar, let's go to nav. Let's go here. A little bit of padding. I'm not sure about 0.5, not much. 0.5 rem. This looks good. Navigation bar padding is pretty good. Obviously the button, I want it on the right hand side. So for that also I will create probably a utility class, called as f_right for float right, and maybe one more f_left for float left if later I want to use it. And font size, I am not sure, but this looks fine to me. Maybe later I might increase it, because right now we haven't even, changed the font. So that also we will be doing that later. So for now it's pretty good. So this padding thing I will copy, and let me quickly copy this. And we'll go back to my code. And in the navigation bar, I'm going to paste it. So padding is 0.5 rem, pretty good. And for the image, for the button, I want it on the right hand side. So I'll create a class is equal to quotes, and the Angular packet is missing. So here we go. And here we'll create a class called as f_right. We need it to be on the right side. So in my comment.css, again, I'll create a class f_right. This will be float of right. Okay. For left also, I'll create a utility class. So f_left, that is going to be float of left. Okay. So now my button is on the right hand side. On the button, I want to do a lot of things actually. What I'm planning is maybe on the button we'll change the color and add this animation or something. So for that I might need to give it a class. So button, I will give a nice class called as nav button, navigation button. And here I'm going to write a couple of CSS. So first of all, I don't want the gray background of the button, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it to white. Background color, I'm going to make it white. #FFF. And the border also I'm going to fix. So border 1 pixel solid, and the color I want yellow one. So if I go back to my Firefox, and from the color palette, not this one, I'll close it. This one, this yellow. So I'm going to copy this, go back to my code, and I'm going to use this one. Paste. Now I also want border radius, so I'm going to use a border radius of 5 pixel, not much, not less. 5 pixel is the average decent enough border radius value. Padding, I want a padding about 0.25 rem everywhere, or maybe horizontally let's increase. I want a longer button, so 1 rem on the longer side and 0.25 again. So when you have 3 values, it's like top, horizontal, bottom. So horizontal is 1 rem, top and bottom is 0.25. You can also do 2 values. I'm not really sure why I did 3, but yeah, we'll fix that. Or maybe we'll just let it be. It's okay. For button, I also want to change the cursor. So I'm going to change the cursor to pointer. It's pretty obvious at this point. And another thing I want is hover. So obviously I'm going to attach hover on this. So nav button : hover is going to be background color, backdrop filter name, background color. We're going to change it to this. Here we go. And the color of the text, we're going to make it white. Okay. Now at this point, let's see how it looks. So this is my button here. And if I hover, you see the color of this button is changing. You can notice now. Okay. So, but it's changing immediately. I want a little bit of animation, here. And also the font is very small. Maybe I want to change the font size as well. Let me increase the font size. Font size, let me put it 1.4 rem. Yeah, this looks way better. So I'm going to change the font size to about 1.4 rem. This looks really, really good. And also give a transition property. So transition is used to animate those things, animate all of these changes in properties. So I'll go back here Change the font size. So font size becomes 1.4 rem. Transition, transform, transition. All transitions should take about 0.25 seconds, not more than that. 0.25 is, good enough time for anything. Now let's see. Let's go back to Firefox, and let's see. Now if I do, it's pretty smooth transition. You see? Let me zoom and show you. It's pretty smooth. Okay. Logo is very weird. I mean, obviously we need a logo. So let's quickly do that. I'll go to an image called as flat icon. Flat icon is a free tool where you have like a lot of images, like 7.2 million icons, which is pretty good. I am zoomed in a lot. So let me resize it. I'm going to search for crypto, and let's see what coin do we get. I don't want to show a logo, specific logo. I don't want to show something, which is like that. Maybe a generic coin logo I want. Let's see. Do we have something here? Nope. Next page. Yeah, we have to see the ads. It's a free one, right? So they will have to make money somehow. Nope, not that good. Nope. Next page. Oh, this one looks good. This C means coin. I mean, yeah, this looks good. So let's use it. I'm gonna download the PNG. Yep, free download. It will download. Let me quickly save it. I have it on the downloads folder. Let me quickly move it and save it in the file manager for this one. So in my code, let me quickly, and I'm going to save this inside my assets, inside the images, because it is an image, right? It's an asset and an image. So I'm going to copy this image, and inside images, I'm going to paste it as logo.png. And here we go. Let me go back to my code and show that to you. Here we have the image, cryptocurrency. Let me quickly rename this and make it as logo.png. You can open, and you're using image preview built in. This is our logo. Now, in my index.html, I have to attach this. So /assets/images/logo.png. And let's see how it looks. We'll go back to Firefox. And, we don't need flat icon anymore. Maybe we will need for footer on the GitHub. We will do that as well. But the image is really big. We have to fix that. For image, we need to probably use a class or something. Right now, I didn't give any class to my image. So maybe I'll give, I don't know, logo image or something. Not now. Maybe I'll just change it here as well first. So this image, what I want is, I want to control the height. So height, let's start with 1 rem. 1 rem is really small. Maybe 2 rem. 2 rem looks decent good. So I'm gonna go with 2 rem. So I'll go back to my code and give it a class. This one I'm gonna call it logo-image, logo-img. In my common.css, create a new class for this, logo-img. Give it a height of 2 rem. Okay. Pretty good. One thing also I'm thinking about, because if you go back to Firefox, we see that text is not aligned with the image. So we might want to fix that as well. The text is, little lower than as compared to the image. So what I'm thinking is, for this H1 as well, maybe I will increase the font size to 2 rem. And also I might do vertical align from the top. Okay, this looks better. This looks way better than your typical, logo there. So this is better. Let's go to code and let's code this up. So H1, I will give a class name, I don't know, title. In my common, I'm gonna create another class. Title, here we go. Font size becomes 2 rem, and vertical align becomes from the top. I get a line and I align it from the top. That's pretty good. Maybe I want a little bit alignment from the top as well, maybe some margin. So I'm gonna do one more thing. Here I will create a utility class which will from the top, from all sides. So basically we'll start with left side, because right now, if you notice, the title here, the company name or whatever name, and the image, they are very, very close. So I want to fix that. So what I'll do is I'll give a margin left of 1 rem. Okay. And this is a utility class. So again, margin left of 1 will give margin left of 1 rem. Maybe I'll just do for all 4 right now. So margin right of 1 again will give margin right of 1 rem. Margin bottom of 1 will give a class here now. Margin bottom, margin bottom of 1 rem, and left, right, bottom, top. So margin top of 1 will give again a class needed, margin top of 1 rem. Okay, so these are all just the utility classes which we have created. So that should be fine. Button is working fine. You can see, and it looks comparatively better than what it used to do. Button is very small. Maybe we can change the height of this. Let's see. On the button, can I give height as 100%? Okay, that might not help. In that case, we might go ahead and give probably padding from the top or margin from the top. I'm not really sure. Let's try both of them. Okay, whatever works. So maybe I will give, okay, padding might not work. Yes, padding might not work in the button because padding will be for inside. So padding will not work. Margin will work. So we can give a margin of top above 0.25 rem or something. This might be good. This might look good. So we have uniformly aligned button. At the same time, let's also quickly get the font. So what I want to do is go on to Google Fonts and fetch the font. Let's remove everything. No need to also, let's remove. And I think I'm zoomed in here as well. Let me reset. We'll go with Roboto. Roboto is like, a good enough font. It's not too fancy, not too weird, and at the same time, not too basic. So Roboto is a good choice. Baki, other than this, if you want, you have a lot of choice to decide from. Google Font is a really, really big resource for fonts. So I'm going to go with Roboto. Not much, just regular 400, nothing fancy. I'm going to do the import approach. So this, I need to copy the CSS basically inside the style tag. I need to copy this, and in my CSS file at the top, I will just paste it here. Okay, and we have to copy another thing. We go back here and we have to copy CSS rules here, which I will apply everywhere. So I'm just going to paste it inside the body tag. So go back here and inside the body, just paste it. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Let's go here to my code, and this looks better. Crypto view, this font looks really, really better than what we had by default. Okay, so this is comparatively better than what we had initially. Okay, we have already almost about to reach half an hour, so I'm going to close this video and we will continue from the next one. Okay, it's not a time limit thing, but just that, focusing on half an hour is quite a long time. So take a break and we'll come back and we'll continue from here. Okay.